But I grew up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and it wasn't until I left that state to move to Maryland in '93 that I realized how blessed I was, because it is a hotbed of horticulture in North Carolina. But when like a fish in water, you don't know till you get out of the water. And so I was really blessed having an interest in gardening and landscape to just grow up in North Carolina. But then Chapel Hill, there is a botanic garden associated with the University of North Carolina, the North Carolina Botanic Garden. And it is, I wouldn't have known it growing up, but it's cutting edge in that its focus is on conservation and native plants. I actually came on the board of the Arboretum, and just as they were finishing negotiations with the state for taking over running the Arboretum. And as I sat as a board member on the search committee for a new executive director, and spending a lot of time here, I thought, I think I might like this job. So I left the board to make it all kosher and applied for the job that I had been trying to find someone to fill. And they put me through the ringer. They did their job. They did their due diligence. I had never managed a staff or budget, but I just knew what this place could mean to the community, because I came from a community that had such a similar resource. The definition of Arboretum is a place that teaches about plants, where there's a collection of plants, and usually the focus is on trees. Typically, an Arboretum's collection, just like a museum has a collection, the Arboretum's collection is plants. They're plants that are collected from all over the world. They're unique cultivars. They're unique because they're large, or the color of their foliage, or whatever. And they're organized, as you'll find at the National Arboretum, by their genus. So you'd see all the conifers together, all the rhododendron together, blah, 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 which is fun. It's especially fun for a gardener. But to learn about the ecology of any area, it's not helpful. And so we're unique in that we can teach about the ecology of this region, because our plants are growing in the plant communities and environments that occur naturally here. The thing for me was that we could be an institution with regional focus because of the Bay restoration. Which North Carolina certainly has a lot of work they're doing on water quality around the state, but it's not a statewide focus like the Bay is for us here in Maryland. And it just makes all Marylanders smarter about the environment than really many places. As frustrated as we get with all the work left to be done to clean up the Bay, we're way ahead of most because the population is so educated about the issue. So it's great to have a facility in the midst of this. Even though in rural Caroline County, we sell $100,000 in native plants a year through our native plant nursery to help support the Arboretum's operation. Now, who would think out here in the boonies that we could do something so esoteric as that? We have 20,000 visitors a year, and about a quarter of them are children. And today, when you arrived, I don't know if you saw the school bus. I think there's a school bus out in the parking lot. We've got a couple of classes from Churchill Elementary School here. Our children's youth programs and field trips have just grown exponentially this spring. We are serving, I think, probably 10 times just this spring than we did all last year. I don't know what's happened, but the word's finally getting out. I'm really blessed because we really have not burned any bridges because we've not got into controversial issues. Now we're going to re-examine with this next strategic plan, because if we have a mission, we have to have a stand. And sometimes it may mean that we take difficult positions. So that's going to be interesting. But I think people now think of us as a haven, and I'm glad and hope they always do. But we've got some controversial issues to deal with, and to anticipate that we will be stepping up to deal with them to make a difference. I think the most important thing I want the community to know is it is not a long drive here. That's the biggest misperception. If you live on the Eastern Shore, It takes you 20 minutes to get to the grocery store anyway. If it takes you 30 minutes to get to Adkins Arboretum, it is more than worth it. And you drive it once, and it always surprises people. Even people coming across the bridge, that they get here faster than they think. So that's the biggest misperception. It is, just because it's not in your county, it is a worthwhile organization to be involved in and to support.